Are you ready?
Hello, welcome to Yemi's house.
Once again.
Yes, sir. And this is a new episode of
Serious Talk.
Oh, and our viewers and our listeners, we really appreciative for you being with us and sticking to us to this very moment. And to our subscribers, we will always say thank you. In my language, they always say "Entasilore." It means anybody you do favor for and refuses to say thank you, it's just like an armed robber coming to your house and packing your loads away. And that's why we say thank you. And like Germans, we say Dankeschön. And today, we have a very big surprise for you on Serious Talk.
Right. Well, initially we started Serious Talk. That's how we started Yemi's house. But we went hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
Back.
And now we're back. And we are back with something interesting for you.
Yes.
For a long time, you've been wondering who Mr. Potato and Mr. Yekoto.
You get to see them today.
Today, you get to see their faces, you get to see them and you get to know them.
The world famous Mr. Yekoto and
Yeah.
Mr. Potato.
And just like you know, this section is called Serious Talk.
Serious Talk.
So I will try and take off my glasses a little bit to make you know it's
serious people put on their glasses.
Yeah, but I'm taking it also that they will see my face and know it's a serious matter today. And today we'll be discussing something that is very serious, and the whole of Africa we are passing through it. And it's the second
It's a pandemic.
And I call it a second colonization of Africa.
Right.
By the Chinese. Many people might not agree with me, but that's the way I view it, because I see it as a second colonization. So, for those who don't really understand what I'm saying, here is a video that was shot here in Nigeria, and you will see our Honorable Minister for Transport, Amechi.
150 Chinese workers. Because it's good to tell Nigerians the truth. This is very political.
Nobody's telling you.
And I will show all the contracts awarded by the PDP government since you want to bring the issue of peace.
It's the chairman, sir. It's the chairman, sir.
My friend, I'm in control.
Awarded by this government by this government is $1.2 billion contribution by the Chinese and the $400 million about by the federal government. And we have.
Can you speak to this document? Please, you are providing government
in China being trained as
Can we have
engineers.
documents of Nigerians that you have taken to China, please?
We will provide that for you.
Can we have the document, please?
On that, they have built 2 training institutions. One in Idu, and I'd like the chairman to come and visit. We are also building a university in Daura,
Can you also provide
on the Lagos Ibadan, which is what is asked. Lagos Ibadan, these are all the Chinese working on that project.
Okay, what of the Nigerians?
As the loan they are doing.
I'm asking you, are you aware?
I'm aware, but as the loan they are doing.
Because sometimes I allow you to make
The evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. To a loan, and there's no loan. And we may not get the loan because of things Mr. Chairman, because of the committee you set up against the China loan. South-South, that contract is from Lagos to Calabar, which is the whole of the South-South. Mr. Chairman, we may not get that loan, so there's no contract.
Can you listen to me? Follow me. I'm not foreign.
Because you're from South-South, the committee you have set up to
Don't
push your
blame me
operations,
because of South-South.
we will lose that contract from Lagos to Calabar. So,
Please.
don't approach me on South-South today, and please don't approach me on South-South
I'm
today.
not.
You have.
I'm not.
Mr. Chairman, you have approached
It's
me.
okay.
Bless you.
We will not degenerate the issue to South or any other South.
Have you not approached me on South-South today? You have approached me.
It's okay.
What am I doing? Those contracts.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
As you could all see inside that video with our Honorable Minister for Transport, Amechi, with all the grammar he was blowing concerning the Chinese law. So, I will leave you...
Nigeria is always our first case study.
Yeah.
Always.
So, we will leave you to be the judge of that. But, you know, today it's mainly about this Chinese loan.
Yes.
And for example, it's so important we discuss it because I call it the second enslavement and colonization of Africa.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible. But there was this amazing article in
Bloomberg
Business Week,
Yeah.
which states that Africa is starting to have second thoughts about these Chinese loans. So maybe that's a good step.
Well, you were saying Africa.
Right.
When one says Africa, one is talking about the continent. But like I always say, we the citizens, probably we are not happy with it. But the people who voted into power to be our representatives are happy with this.
Yes.
So, that is why I want people to understand. We are not happy. But the people dictated, like in Nigeria, the contract was written in Mandarin. Not even in Chinese, not even in any of the dialects we have in Nigeria.
But the article stated that Nigerian lawmakers are reviewing Chinese loans that they say was unfair.
Yeah, they are reviewing it now because because it's written in Mandarin and Nigerians are crying.
How
And
will
that's
they
why.
sign a loan in the Chinese language?
That is the question you and I should be asking, and that is why in Zambia.
Yeah.
Look, like viewers, do you know that the vice president of Zambia is a white man? 80-something years old.
Yes.
I bet not many
Well, he
people
said he
know
was
that.
born and raised in Zambia, so he has a Zambia citizenship.
You can tell me the Pope. I mean, we all know the Pope is a Catholic. Yeah. So, the issue is this. Now, Zambia is being virtually run by the Chinese because they've taken over their port.
And the debt is
The debt, because
enormous.
is enormous.
Right.
So, just like the conditions they gave to Nigerians,
Right.
that if after a particular period of time we are unable to get back our loan, then we'll come into your land and take whatever you want to take.
The clause says anything.
Yeah, the clause says anything. And many Nigerians are not really taking this serious, but I see it as a very serious matter that needs to be discussed. It has to be tackled now before it's too late.
Well, I always say taxpayers, we go to this, but taxpayers don't even know the clause in these loans. Like the only time we get to hear about these things is when there are problems. You know, when the government who takes their loan leaves power and the other government comes in power and then and try to expose them to make they look credible. That's the only time citizens get to hear about these
Because they are all rogues. Because this is serious stuff.
Right.
And we have to be serious and
These loans are guaranteed with our future.
with our future,
Yeah.
generations to come.
Right.
We make this loan. Do you even know the interest rate? Even the interest rate alone to even cover the interest rate is killing enough.
Yeah.
How much more now to even pay back
Right.
the actual money being borrowed? So, just like in the case of Zambia, they've taken over Zambia.
The interest says 7 folds.
Yeah,
Imagine 7 folds, 150 billion.
that's big money.
It's insane.
And apart from that, they've taken over Zambia. Look at what is happening in Kenya. The activist has to come out and Khalifa. He had to come out and scream and shout.
Yeah.
Because they said they constructed a railway from Mombasa,
292 miles.
292 miles
Right.
from Mombasa to Nairobi, the capital. But the contents and the clauses inside the contract remains hidden up till now.
Which I don't understand. If you taxpayers
Why?
are paying, why are these clauses hidden from taxpayers?
But I would not be surprised if it's written, if the contract too is written or was written in Mandarin.
In Kenya? I don't think so. I think they use that just as it doesn't make sense. I would be ashamed to come out and say that I signed a contract that was written in a different.
Yeah, because our leaders, our lawmakers, they call themselves lawmakers, but I call them lawbreakers. They come there, they don't think about it. The only thing they think about is how much is going to get into my pocket from this loan.
Right.
Because when you look at it, how many of these people are their kids in government? Most of their kids are either in in a company, in a company owned by the father. A company being built by ill-gotten wealth.
Yeah, but the funny thing is everybody gets everybody, if anything goes wrong in the future with these laws and stuff, regardless of who your father was, everybody's going to be affected one way or the other. You know, so it's literally like,
look, their fathers will get Africa, our nation, our country into problems.
right,
But when we are now paying the price,
Right.
all of us will pay the price.
including his family.
Yeah, but why can't they alone suffer for it? Because they got us into that problem, but it's not going to be like that, and that is why they go ahead with it.
Well, nobody holds anybody. But first of all, if you don't know the clause in these laws, how do you hold anybody responsible? Because we are looking at Tanzania, the President John Magufuli, he called an agreement his predecessor made with the Chinese investors to build a $10 billion port and economic zone as a deal only a madman will make. It's terrible.
So what do you call?
Like, imagine the clause in such a deal for the predecessor to come and to the general public and say, if you sign this, then you're crazy.
Was it not the same Magafuli who said that he took an example of when they said they wanted to test coronavirus, and they said he took pawpaw and gave them pawpaw, and then pawpaw came back positive. So I will not be surprised if that man signs anything. Okay, because they said you should bring a sample of human beings. You went ahead and give samples.
He did not sign this agreement. His predecessor did.
Yeah, his predecessor did it.
Yes.
But he came. He could have. I mean, that loan. He could have hardly say, okay, we don't want it again. You stop it there. You write it off.
That's why he's saying that. He said that he read it. It was like only a madman would make such a deal. So I'm sure they relinquished the deal. I don't know what happened, but
Hopefully, I believe
for such a
Magafuli.
statement means he's not happy with
Yeah,
what happened.
we've heard instances of our leaders saying they don't like something, but at the end of the day, you discover they go signing it. So I always say our African leaders, I only believe them when I see them in action or when I see what they've said that they've done it.
We have a cash-starving government in Africa, but for some reason I don't know why we have all the resources to we have such the youngest generation in the world. Africa is almost 1 billion in the next year or two. So I don't know why the need or the rush to acquire these loans and for what, you know?
Because of their own selfish interest, because they want to put the money inside their own pocket.
Yeah.
You
I think they
understand?
literally sold everything in the country. So now
For heaven's sake,
they have to
Nigeria,
go out there,
I could remember,
somewhere.
back then I could remember the former Senate President Chuba Okadibo. He had a helicopter. He had an helipad on his house. I mean, on top of his house.
Right.
From there to the Senate house. I mean, for heaven's sake, what distance is that? Like a distance of 5, 6, 7, 8 kilometers, and he flies with an helicopter.
Well,
On whose bill?
this is very interesting. Okay, so it's getting interesting. We have to introduce our analyst, our honorable analyst from Nigeria, to join us to discuss this whole Chinese loans issue. So
It will be like we promised you and we
For the
told you
first
today.
time.
For the first time, you'll be seeing the faces of our analysts. You've always been listening Mr. Yokoto and Mr. Potato. And today, we will bring them to you and you will see their faces. So now we will first go to Mr. Potato. So
let's go for a break when we come back.
we'll go for a short break now, and when we come back, you will see their faces live and direct. Right, welcome back.
Welcome back. It's good.
Yeah, yes. Excuse us for that. So
It's good.
we will now go to our analyst. We will go to Mr. Potato right now and ask him what he thinks about all this second slavery, rather
Right.
pandemic, right?
Pandemic.
Chinese pandemic.
Chinese pandemic. So, Mr. Potato first. Mr. Potato, so my colleague and I, Mr. Yemi, Mr. Ghana, we've been talking about some African countries having second thoughts about the Chinese loans. And I'm sure you guys read the article, the Bloomberg Business Week. So my first question is, why is China Africa's preferred lender?
Well, I can tell you that it's beyond trade.
It's beyond trade.
It's war. It's a silent war. It's a tactical war against the African people. They are feeding on our greed. They understand that we are weak. We have been weakened by colonialism.
Right.
We have been weakened by loss of history.
Yeah.
We have lost our reasoning as the cradle of the world culture.
Right.
You know, we are actually the source of the wealth of the world, and this they have seen that we are sitting on gold and we are looking for chairs. You know, they understand that a typical African man is driven by pride of how many children he has,
Yes.
how many how many acres of land he can grab,
Right.
and how he continue to maintain what his father bestowed on him.
Yes.
But now we have not been able to see beyond our nose. You know, Africa is now the farm for European powers to sow AIDS, for America to sow AIDS. Now the Chinese have come with their own Greek gift. How can Africa allow China to now turn their land to a slave yard? The way they are doing it is such that sooner than later they will start laying claims to parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Some countries are already lost to China.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nigeria has, there was a Niger construction
Yeah.
in Nigeria that the Europeans used to siphon all our money, especially England. Now we have CCCC. Is a Trojan. CCCC is the company that China is using to do and undo in Nigeria. You know, there was a time we were having Julius Berger as the major contractor in Nigeria, but they have studied and adapted that model of Julius Berger. They have now advanced in their quest to annex Nigeria to an enclave of China. You will see where you have a company that dictates to the government what they can do and what they cannot do. A minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former Governor Rotimi Amici, has to say that National Assembly should not just discuss Chinese loan so that China will not go angry. You know, it's thinking. It's a thing that that should make us all of us to reason,
Right.
to cry.
Right.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Okay. So
I heard China is going to donate $50 million university in Daura.
There is no free gift.
right.
I
It's not
think
free gift.
crazy.
You should
Nobody
despise free
gives
lunch.
such a gift. It is no gift.
You know that.
It is no gift.
Mhm.
I tell you, it is no gift.
Yeah.
It should call all of us to reason.
Right.
How can somebody just wake up? Somebody that in his country, his people are not well fed. There is problem in his own country and he's dashing out $50 million. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You can't have 3 children in China. You
Only
can't.
One. But also
Here we can afford to feed 4 children, 5 children. A family can be as large as 39.
40.
And now somebody who must not have more than 1 child
Yeah.
is now dashing out $50 million. Something's happening somewhere.
Right.
We have to reason about it.
Right. Okay. My second question is, Mr. Potato, as much as people are complaining about these Chinese loans, does most African countries have a plethora of options?
We have what it takes to feed ourselves.
Yeah.
We may not have what it takes to build the trains, the bridges. The question is, do we really need them? Are they pressing needs?
Well.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Must we have those trains now? You don't borrow to buy things you will need in the future.
Exactly.
You borrow for necessities. I think the necessity as of now is self-sufficiency in food production.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Industries.
No, you are building trains from Nigeria to Chad to move what? To move
Cows.
Boko Haram.
Cows.
No, you
What is in Chad?
don't build trains to move people from one place to the other to go and have a party. There are no companies, there are no industries
There are no
that
industries.
trains will support.
Right.
It's just for movement. I want to visit Lagos. Now, the roads that are affordable, have we done it? We have this bitumen. You have bitumen wasting away in Ondo State.
But I
As
heard
government
the new
to add facts
administration yesterday.
to
I watched the
build
news
roads
yesterday.
for us.
Mr. Potato, I watched the news yesterday, and the incumbent government in Ondo State, they went yesterday. They did a sensitizing program,
Right.
with the Irele people, and I think they said they will commence production. Although they said the problem has always been political, but the present administration now went there yesterday. They did sensitizing programs. They
Right.
sat down with the major stakeholders yesterday, and he promised that they will soon kick off.
With the bitumen.
Let's-
With the bitumen
We've
project.
been hearing
Let's-
this forever.
Let's hope they will kick off. I don't want to comment on that.
Okay. All right. And one more thing. So that's one thing I wanted to confirm. Do you think these loans obtained by our government, do you think the clauses of these loans should be known to the general public? Should be
Made public.
public? Do taxpayers have the rights to know the cost of these loans that we take from these countries?
To our political science books, government should be for the people, by the people,
Yes.
and for the
Yes.
people. But what we see is we still have leadership that still believe we are in the military era where you don't talk, you don't question, you don't reason,
Right.
you just go follow.
Right.
There is a lot to learn from advanced democracies.
Yeah.
The government should not be seen as exclusive preserve of the people that are in government. Why will you borrow money when I'm still going to be the one to pay back? And you say I should ask you where what the loan is meant for,
Right.
how much we are taking, and how much are we paying back?
Right.
How can my Minister of Transport insist that Nigeria can pay back in 20 years when we have seen companies fall to China just because they cannot service their loans? The oil we are relying on, that we are over relying on, is becoming worthless. It's becoming worthless. So from where you are not creating other utilities that can help us to create wealth, and you are insisting that we can pay. Is it by just saying we can pay? The people that are giving you these things, they are giving you conditions that will not make you to benefit from it. Number one, they give you conditions that ensure that they are the ones that will implement the project. Imagine somebody giving you loan to establish a company, and they are the ones that will construct the company. They will bring their technical personnel to construct the company. They will be the one to operate the company,
Right.
and they will be the one to declare profit for you that it has made profit or it has made loss. If I'm right, they will never tell you they have made profit.
Well, we will quickly go on a short break, and when we come back, we ask them the final questions.
Welcome back.
Welcome back once again to Serious Talk. So, you see,
Getting serious.
I'm even finding it difficult to drink what I have because it's serious.
Put the glasses back on.
Yeah. So, Mr. Potato, inside this contract, as you can see, our honorable minister said, although it was written in Mandarin, do you know that it's been written in Mandarin? I believe it's not the first time such a contract will be written. And like the clause inside, which makes everybody now to be screaming and to be interested in it, is because they said if they want to get back their loan, and Nigeria is unable to pay, just like Zambia was unable to pay, that they will be able to take anything.
Anything.
That is the problem inside the clause. Anything.
Anything could be anything.
Anything could be anything. They can say Aso Rock, they can say Nigerian NNPC. They can even say every Nigerian to change their name to
Not Aso Rock.
Chinese. I mean, come
But you
on.
never know.
So my question to you, Mr. Potato, is this. Do you think that if when the loan is due to be paid back and Nigeria is unable to pay it back, do you think that our sovereignty, we will really lose it? That was how they fooled the Zambians into saying it's not that difficult. But now if you look at it, Zambia has no more economy. Their economy is being run. And it's still being run by the Chinese. So don't you think the same thing will happen to Nigeria?
when you are owing me a fortune and you have agreed that I can take anything, then the right thing to do is to take anything. Anything includes even Asura.
Yeah.
Anything includes the budget of the country. Anything includes National Assembly.
Yeah.
Anything includes all the land, the expanse of land that the train will pass through. And that is a whole lot of land in Nigeria.
Wow. Can imagine.
Anything includes our ports. The bulk of the money Nigeria make comes from the port. Anything includes the whole of Lagos. So we should be ready for a showdown. We should be ready for a showdown. The best thing for Africa is to avoid these loans because they are avoidable. If you cannot afford something and you are going to do it, you are simply geared. You should prepare that you are losing everything that belongs to you.
Right.
Because the people that are giving you that money, they don't forgive loans. China don't forgive loans.
Right, they're communists.
Yeah. Communist and
So
capitalist.
it is better avoided.
All right.
But the government of the day is on steroid. They just believe that whatever they think, whatever the reason is proper. You can imagine somebody that is building refinery in the desert when the ones in the creeks are not working. The government is a magician.
Right.
So
Thank you, Mr. Potato. To you, Mr. Ayekoto, what do you think? Don't you think if you are unable to pay back the money, let's say in the next 10 years, don't you think one day China will just come into Nigeria and take everything that we have?
Africa has become the bedrock of the economies of the world because the fast rate at which African countries are growing and the economic interest that is based in Africa is so enormous that all other parts of the world will be struggling to get Africa as the market. Because like there is a musician here in Nigeria, Olamide is a Yoruba boy. He speaks only in Yoruba language. When they ask him why didn't he go out or why didn't he even sing in English language, he said the market of Lagos alone has about 18 million people.
That's enough.
So in Lagos alone, anything he sings in Lagos alone is okay for him. If he makes 10 million, it's okay for him. So like I said, Africa is the beehive of activities and the center of the world. And if you look at it, China is already struggling to ensure that they overtake America as the world leading power. There is no better place for China to concentrate on than Africa, which is why China is fighting tooth and nail to do everything humanly possible to ensure that they take over the economic activities of Africa. So it is simply put, Africa is the market and China is ready to sell.
Right. So my second question is, as much as a lot of African countries are complaining, lots of people complain in Africa about these loans, do you think African countries have a plethora of options in terms of obtaining loans?
Yes, like you said, one of the major problems we have in Africa is leadership crisis, because our leaders are short-sighted in their dealings with other nations diplomatically. So Africa, we have taken this kind of position of minority inferiority complex. Our complex affects the way we deal with people. So instead of us negotiating from a position of strength, we are negotiating from a position of weakness, believing, thinking, hoping that we are the ones shortchanging the people that are dealing with us, not minding the fact that they are the ones actually delving into our economy and eating deep into the fabric of our development. So Africans and Africa at large will not be successful or may not grow more if we did not change this mentality of believing that everything good comes from Europe, comes from Asia, comes from abroad. It is when Africa realizes its potential to develop the human capacity, to develop its own developmental stages and ensure that we grow. That is when we can negotiate from the position of strength. And if you look at it, in this loan of 18, you have this SIC, Sovereign Immunity Clause, that gives these people, the borrowers, the upper hand over Africans, over African nations. And unless we address and readdress the clauses in this sovereign immunity clause, then we will still be circumventing round the whole thing while we leave our development to the hands of China, America, and other developed nations.
Okay, and my last question goes to us, Mr. Potato. Look, we are even going to talk about this particular country in African history, which is Mali. Mali happens to be an interesting country.
Right.
And it's so sad that this was one of the major African countries that existed.
The biggest.
The biggest
empire
before our before the white people came and they scattered it just like they always do. But that is for African history, it's not for this show. So if you want to know more about African history,
stay tuned
to African history. So don't let me, like Yoruba will say, Kima forele sorrow. It means I should not leave the main topic and digress. So all I want to ask is, Mali, you saw the video of the president and the vice president exchanging blows on national TV, which I believe was one of the reasons why the Malians decided to go into the streets. And I believe that was one of the reasons why the soldiers came and they overthrew them and they took over government. Many Malians seems to be happy about this. But my question is this. Soldiers, military, we know they are meant to protect a country from invasion, from enemies. But when the same people now tend to be in power, don't you think it's going to be scandalous? Fine, they've taken power. They've helped their people. They've given back that confidence that the Malians need. But the problem is this. Don't you think the 3 years is too long? Or are they justified wanting to stay in that seat of power for the next 3 years? Because I believe they should take the case of Abdul Salam. He was there for some couple of months and
he handed
power to the
civilians.
Yeah.
And J.J. Wallace did the same thing.
Exactly.
Right.
So I believe if this military people or the army, if they believe they can make a better Mali, my own opinion is, why don't they just take off that uniform?
Right.
And
stand as a presidential candidate, and
so the
if
question,
they are jubilating this much, it's likely they might vote for you.
Exactly. So the question is, staying there for 3 years, is it justifiable?
Well, I'm actually not in Mali. I may not know how they feel, but feelers on the streets, from what we see on television, shows that people of Mali are rather happy that there's a change in government. We don't want to encourage a military takeover, but when you make a peaceful coexistence of people impossible, there may be a forceful attempt to ensure that you restore normalcy.
Right.
I think what we experience in Africa is such that the presidential system that we have seen and copied is antithetical to the normal well-being of the larger population of the people. Okay. There was a video that surfaced online about the son of the president that was celebrating a party in faraway France, and you need to see the kind of affluence they have displayed. That money came from a poor Mali, right. a Mali where they have constantly been at war internally, a country where there's poverty everywhere. You need to see another video where people gained entrance into the house of the very son of the president, you need to see how people were happy to loot. The kind of orientation that we have in Africa, that when you are in government, you are the Lord. Like Idi Amin said, I'm the state. It encourages revolt, and if people don't revolt, they die in silence. So when there's an action, there is always an opposite reaction. The opposite and equal reaction. That's what we have seen in Mali. Well, many African countries, I don't want to tell you in that also in Nigeria, they are praying for something like that. But I don't know how I could say that to be so silent, so that you guys will not hear that. People are actually suffering in the midst of plenty. The government that we have in Africa have mismanaged the people so much, and anything can happen in different parts of Africa. Anything can happen. Many countries may still have to split. We have seen it in Sudan, where we have now South Sudan. It may just be like the Arab Spring that will sweep all over Africa. But I just hope it is peaceful in Nigeria. I'm not prophesying doom for Nigeria, but the country is vastly mismanaged. That's what I say.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Potato. Thank you for your time, and as usual, you are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And people will see who Mr. Potato is now. Right?
So for the first time, the honors get to sue Mr. Potato, and I'm sure everybody loves you. And I heard the leader is only 25 years old.
Yeah.
It's a young guy.
So to you, Mr. Ayekoto, do you think the 3 years is justifiable?
Yeah, you see, like I said, African situations are always different from Sena climes. The world has been made to realize that democracy is the best form of government, and we've not had any alternative to that yet. And all civilized nations of the world are practicing democracy. But the case of Mali is different. It's different because since Abacha in 1998, it was when Abacha died in 1998, that was the last time we heard that people trooped into the street and were jubilating the death of Abacha. And it is similar to what happened in Mali, because if you look at Mali, since the president forced himself into the nets of the people during his last election, he won landslide, but he used all his mago tendencies to win. Malians have not been enjoying the governance. Malians are economic downtrodden. Malians have money, but they cannot access it. Malians' economic growth has been stagnant. Everything in Mali has turned upside down. Mali has a large deposit of gold in Africa, but the Malians are not accessible to it. So as you can see, when the government...
Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And viewers.
You finally got to see the faces.
You see their faces, huh?
Ayekoto and Mr. Potato. And you should expect this. You've seen them more often,
Yeah.
Trying to make the show as better as possible for everybody to get closer to us. So it feels like a family. So you get to see everybody that comes on the show, in their faces.
And this is serious stuff. So we'll be having on Yemi's house. And until next time, on Yemi's house serious talk.
It's good evening.
Please stay safe. It's really, really important. COVID-19 is no joke. It really, 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 really exists. Here in Germany, I cannot tell you how much people have died because of it. And here is a country whereby they take serious care about health, and yet this is happening. How much more in Africa, where health is just, means nothing. Human life means nothing to them. So please, take care of yourself and your family. COVID is real, no. It's no joke. So until next time.
It's good evening.
And from me, Yemi. Peace, yo.